Hungry ghost. Anyway, there's a guy named Malin. He's from Chitty, greedy, a scoundrel whose family was finally exhausted. His fellow countrymen nicknamed him the Hungry Ghost. By their 30s, the days were tougher, the clothes ragged and the hands crossed over their shoulders, stealing food from the market. People despise him and disdain him. There was an old man in his hometown, surnamed Chu, who lived in a bustling metropolis. As a teenager with his family and worked in an unscrupulous business. He returned to his hometown in his later years and was criticized by the National People's Congress. But Chu's revisionism was widespread, and people began to treat him with a little politeness. One day, just in time for Mr. Ma's food, the store was unforgiving. Chu pitied him, paid for him, took Ma home, and gave him hundreds of dollars as his own. After Ma Young took it, he refused to work for himself and ate his own food. Soon, the money ran out, and the same old mistakes were made again. Fearing an encounter with Chu, he fled to Liaozhai. Living in a school palace at night, Mr. Ma removed jade skewers from the corona of a sage statue and burned it to keep warm in the winter. When the cadet finds out, he's angry. He'll be punished. Mr. Ma is begging for pardon and willing to save money for his students. Cadet Daisy let him go after Ma Young visited Yin Fu, a bookseller's family member. He went to the door to forcibly extort money and intentionally provoke the person to be angry. Then Ma Young used a knife to injure himself, framed the bookseller and injured him, and sued him to the school officer. The student wasn't expelled when the student was extorted. The other students were angry and sued the county officials. When the prefect visited the scene, he beat Ma Young's 40 bachelors and locked his neck with a shackle. 3 days later, Mr. Mayon died in prison. This night, Chu dreamed that Ma Young would come in dressed and say, "I have failed you, and I will repay you tonight." I woke up, and I had a son. Chu Shiji was reincarnated by Ma Young and named his child Mar. The horse has not been smart since he was a child. Fortunately, he is able to study. At the age of 20, Chu worked hard to get the horses into the county school. Later, when the horse went to the exam, he stayed in a hotel, slept in bed during the day, and saw 8 old articles on the wall. On closer inspection, he felt hard to write on the subject of the nature of dogs, read the article and remembered it. Entering the examination room, the exam happens to be this question. The horse transcribed the memory, got a grade, the exam. It wasn't until she was 60 that Mar made up her Lenny tutorials. For years, there was no such thing as a moral bond. He grinned greedily if he had taken the money out of his sleeve, or else his eyelids would have been dangling and imposing. I don't think so. The county officials occasionally ordered him to give light punishments to the negligent pupils, and he brutally plundered them, like punishing thieves. If you want to sue a student, knock on the door. So many times, the students were unbearable. In their late 70s, the horses are puffy, deaf and blind, often asking for drugs to blacken their white whiskers. Some frenzied student duped Saigon to cheat him. It was done and, as you can see, the mustache of the horse turned red, like a statue of a spiritual officer in a temple. The horse was furious and wanted to arrest the student, who had fled the night before. For that reason, the horse was so upset that it died a few months later.
Alright, this story has come to an end. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you.